all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
And right now at 6 o'clock, a community is in mourning after a woman, a pillar of the East Granby community, was killed inside her home.
And ending gun violence will be discussed in New Haven today. What provision in a newly signed gun bill that many people will support victims of domestic violence.
So drought concerns lingering across Connecticut. We'll tell you what one local farm is doing to try to make it through the summer okay.
Good morning. Thanks so much for starting off your day here with us at Fox 61 America Areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's get right over to meteorologist Rachel Piscatelli for the forecast after, I think it was probably the warmest day of the week yesterday.
Yeah, very warm conditions. We saw highs in the 90s yesterday. We'll do it all over again today with high heat and humidity expected at least for one more day. Today, the month of August is actually closing in on the warmest on record, and our record dates back to 1905. We'll talk about that a little bit more in my full forecast. But 70 degrees right now in some areas, 73 in the capital city. You're looking at dew points in the 70s with winds out of the south 5 to about 15 miles per hour. 70 degrees in Waterbury, 77 in New Haven, 73 in Chester. Very humid conditions today under mostly clear skies. Some locations dealing with cloud coverage, others looking at mostly clear. Noticing just off to our west, we have this front. This front will continue to approach our area a little bit later in the day. So overnight, bringing a chance for some scattered showers, some spotty showers into the mix. But heading to the bus stop, early clouds breaking for sunshine a little bit later. Very warm conditions into the 80s and approaching the 90-degree mark a little bit later in the day. Hot and humid conditions also expected. 86 degrees in New Haven, 85 in Waterbury. We'll time out those scattered showers and thunderstorms overnight coming up in my full forecast. Right now, we want to get a check out on the roadways. Lauren, good morning.
Good morning to you, Rach. Good morning, everyone. 6:02 here in the CTDOT Traffic Center. No incidents to get out to this morning. We do have a lot of construction still out on the roads, but a lot is wrapped up for the morning commute. Let's bring you into the Hartford area. We still are seeing some construction on the southbound side of I-91, also the eastbound side of I-84, also a little bit of construction on Route 2. But in the capital city, as on I-91 right near Airport Road, things are moving smoothly now that construction in this area has cleared. Let's take a look at our Hartford drive times. 91, 84, Route 2, actually all moving really well, looking good for our morning commuters out there. Out in Waterbury, things are moving smoothly as you're approaching the Mixmaster over on I-84. Things are looking good. And down in Fairfield County, we are seeing some mild to moderate delays between Fairfield and Westport down into the Norwalk area on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see that southbound side of I-95. Lots of headlights there, some heavier volume out there, but no incidents to report for everyone heading to that New York state line. Things over in New Haven are looking good as well. We'll check in again coming up in the next half hour, but for now, Tim, I'll send things over to you.
Hi, Lauren, thank you. It is 6:03. And this morning, flags are at half-staff in East Granby after the town's library manager was the victim of a murder-suicide. Hundreds of people attended a vigil last night outside the East Granby Public Library to remember 48-year-old Doreen Jasius. They hugged and comforted one another and spoke about what Doreen meant to them and to the community.
Thoughtful, kind, very caring. Her job at the library suited her very well. She was very proud of what she did, and she did a great job at it.
Police said Doreen's husband, 49-year-old Thomas Jasius, shot and killed them both. He was a sergeant for the Avon Police Department. They were found Sunday evening inside their home on Winding Hills Road. The library at which Doreen worked will be closed until Friday to allow staff to grieve.
In Wethersfield, 21-year-old Caroline Ashworth and 59-year-old Michael Molo were found dead inside of a car with gunshot wounds. This happened on Mountain Laurel Drive Saturday night. Police say Ashworth and Molo had been in a relationship, and they are investigating their deaths as a murder-suicide. Happening today in New Haven, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy will join local organizations to highlight a provision in the recently passed bipartisan gun safety package. It's designed to help support victims of domestic abuse.
It would close the so-called boyfriend loophole, a move that makes it harder for convicted domestic abusers to get guns. Fox 61's Angela Bavaro joins us now live in New Haven with more details on this measure. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. And those advocates in our state argue that closing this boyfriend loophole will ultimately save lives, and that is expected to be the main message as U.S. Senator Chris Murphy hosts this roundtable discussion today with those domestic violence victims as well as advocates. Again, this is a new provision that was passed as part of that historic bipartisan gun safety deal that was signed by President Biden back in June. Now, before that, federal law did prohibit people convicted of domestic violence from obtaining guns, but only if that person was married to the victim, lived with that victim, or had a child with that victim. As a result, advocates say it missed a whole group of perpetrators, current and former boyfriends or intimate partners. While this new law makes it more difficult for those people to get guns, this provision already existed in Connecticut before this new federal law. But victim advocates say closing the loophole across the country will only strengthen all communities.
With many, many victims and survivors who have been abused, are being stalked, being harassed continually by their former intimate partners.
And let's put this into perspective. According to the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence, nearly half of all women killed in the U.S. are murdered by a current or former intimate partner. And more than that, data also shows a woman is 5 times more likely to be murdered when her abuser has access to a gun. And that meeting happening today, that roundtable discussion with the U.S. Senator Chris Murphy, that's going to be happening right here behind me at the Q House at 2 p.m. Reporting live in the Elm City this morning, I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61 News.
Angela, thanks so much. And important information here. If you or know someone you know is dealing with domestic violence, there are a lot of resources available, including CT Safe Connect. That's a 24/7 hotline hosted by the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence. You can call or text the number that's on your screen right now. You can also reach out via email. CT Safe Connect has multiple languages available, and you can contact them anonymously. We do have more information over on our website. You can head there to fox61.com.
This morning, police said they are still investigating after 2 men were shot, and one of them was killed in what they're saying was a fight over a gold chain. It happened yesterday afternoon in New Haven around 1 p.m. Officers found 2 people shot on Thompson Street near Shelton Avenue. They said 26-year-old Michael Judkins was killed, and a 20-year-old man was also shot, although he is expected to survive. We still don't know if they shot each other or if somebody else shot them. Still waiting for that update. Also happening today, the New Haven Police Department and city leaders will give an update on the city's efforts to combat violent crime. Chief Carl Jacobson is expected to give more information on some recent deadly and non-deadly shootings, as well as gun seizures and other gun-related issues. That briefing is scheduled for 10:30 this morning. Well, Waterbury police said a man appears to have drowned in East Mountain Reservoir. Firefighters were called for help around 4:15 yesterday afternoon, and when they got there, they found a man in the water and pronounced him dead there. They haven't yet released the victim's name.
In New Britain, a man will spend the next 17 years in prison after he's been convicted of sexually assaulting a child back in 2018. The New Britain state's attorney says Christopher Rodriguez was sentenced after a jury convicted him in May of 4 charges, including first-degree sexual assault. Rodriguez will also have 12 years of special parole after his prison sentence. All right, caught on camera here, a car being broken into and a catalytic converter stolen. This all happening in Wethersfield. A woman says that her family became the latest victims of the ongoing catalytic converter thefts that are happening all across the state. Her home surveillance video captured the entire thing.
3 men had pulled up early in the morning, but full daylight at 6:20 in the morning, broken my driver's side window, put my car in neutral, pushed it into the street, backed up close to it, jacked it up, cut off my catalytic converter, and they were out.
Well, catalytic converter thefts have been on the rise for quite a while now. According to the Wethersfield Police Department, in just the last month, there have been 3 reports of catalytic converter thefts.
While we wait for this week's official report on the drought status in Connecticut, that's released on Thursdays, it does appear that the bit of rainfall we've gotten in the past week is helping, but farmers say they're still being impacted. Fox 61 visited Whittle Willow Spring Farm in Mystic, and its co-owner told us this season they've relied more on irrigation to water their fruit and vegetable fields.
Normally you put it all together, you run for 5-6 days, it rains, you could pick it all up, put it away. This year we ran it for 33 days straight.
Because of the drought, the government recently designated New London County as a primary natural disaster area. It's now one of 5 counties where farmers are now able to apply for financial help and loans from the government. New this morning, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said it's going to invest up to $300 million to help farmers grow more organic crops. The agency said it hopes this will build better markets and bring in more income for farmers and other producers. The feds plan to do this through 3 steps: education, financial assistance, and partnerships to help improve organic supply chains.